Hello and welcome to the Money Charts channel, as this is the end of the day number 22, month number 5, and year number 2018. Crypto day, every day is such. At least it is until it is not. Bitcoin price is at 8,000. It would have a long ways to go for that of not. And that it does seem really likely to me that we have an and or situation. And that is Bitcoin prices to ultimately not be anywhere near here, which is 7,900. 20, 40,000, that's child's play. 6 figures plus, it's either going to go there. And or it's going to be pretty much over for the crypto game. And well, if it's over for it, how could it even be worth 400? Which is better than a 20x decline. And that's why I say and or, because maybe it goes to like 250,000 or a million or whatever insane number higher, then it just goes to nothing. That would be insanity, but the entire crypto market's been insane. It's an insane situation to be living for decades upon decades in this world in a fiat debt-based monetary system on a global level, but it's the name of the game. So then, technical analysis within Bitcoin, daily chart. Of course, everything within your own risk, own reward. The 18 average and previous highs, it's all doing its thing. If you were one to say, okay, I think I want to shorten here, you can say that was a decent amount of risk, because where are you going to put your stop if you played in here? Somewhere above here? Okay, well, if that's the case, your stop would no longer be there. Maybe as it hits this low, you put a stop above the 18 average of highs as it's at this low. Then it hits the 18 of lows, falls down, and now you can place it below that previous high. And now we just recently had this move, starting to go lower from the 18 in here. Stated that in the 4-minute warning. It didn't mean it was going to have to do it, but it did. So now you can reduce any types of stops on the short positions bit below, and just keep on doing it when you see new significant areas. For me, I would rather wait to see price action go a little bit lower. Maybe I might buy some Bitcoin back here, but I'm like 5% short, so it's not like I kind of wish I was more, but so be it. Market's going to go in volatile situations, and any way you can figure on profiting from such, and there's so many ways of doing so, it's all available. So then, price action again, right back to where it was. It is barely pierced below 400-minute time frame. How did the 18 average of lows handle the last situation? Not that good. Here it wasn't here. And ever since the decline, little bit of consolidation, big red down, and a decent red continuation more. How is it going to handle this move in here? How is it going to digest this decline? And I say digest, and what are the common things you normally see? A lot of times, if it's just somewhat weak, but it's not ready to at least head lower yet, then what you're going to see is that the market will just bounce around and just chop sideways along here for a little while. That's it's like a wait and see decision. Oh, I don't like, both bulls and bears are just in the wait game to see who's going to make a budge move when a situation like this happens, because it can be still very scary on the bullish side, because you see a move like this, and where was that big rally? Which is another one of the things you could expect as well, as the rally. But oftentimes when you have a move like this, you can expect the rallies to fail, maybe sometimes up towards this area. Thus, maybe a 61, 65-ish to 70% correction from this high to right now. Of course, it would be this low. That's another scenario. If you don't get support where you're supposed to, and I just gave you the two examples of what I expect support to look like, I think it's more common that the net result is a decent leg lower than it is with just regular continuation down. With a second place finish to resisting support rather than supporting it. That would be the honorable mention. That was the word I was trying to come up with, because that's relatively common as well. So that's how we look at this on the 400-minute. On the single hour time frame, this has now entered mode of a free fall mode, as it was in a controlled bear market from here, because you make this high, support this low, resist 18, support, resist in here, support, resist, free fall. Price action severely below such. Thus, again, longer term, we're supposed to get some sort of support play, where if price action is to bounce higher, we can see the 18 of lows is going to be declining 8,000 pretty soon. 18 of highs is going below 8,100 now. So that's areas short term where if there's going to be a bounce, that's going to bring a test play in towards such. So if you see, right now it's 79.10. Say in another hour or two, maybe midnight, 2 in the morning, or even just, well, definitely 2 in the morning, we're talking the hour time frame, or by then, that if it comes up here, well, that's bringing it to a spot where it's like, okay, well, here we go. You're never too optimistic that it's going to be a bottom, but they do happen, of course. If you look at the previous levels of all low bottoms and you look back at it, you'll see it's the bottom. And you never know when the event occurs that's going to be like, oh, this indicator tells me it's definitely going to be one. Now, with that being said, there's situations where you can see more probable of further decline or rise, and it's, for a bullish level, definitely more favorable for the decline. When you consider with this move, this test here, back again, it's probably at least seems as if somewhere around 74, 7,500, which is the ultimate must hold that I've been talking about for quite some time, as I would expect as a leg lower from this kind of move. With Litecoin against the fiat currency, it's the exact same thing on the daily term time frame. And on its single hour time frame, it's relatively the same as well, as it's been in free fall ever since 3 p.m. Eastern time, or 1500 hours. So the same rules apply within this as well. 126. Where would its next target be? Well, its previous level of key support is in at 113. And then below that, I got a few lines in place. 93. That represents the previous high. All of these numbers are represented Fibonacci one way or another. 67, 85, and then 40 below that. And then you think, well, 40, that can't be possible. Unfortunately, it can be possible. But that's the whole point from the outset that I say with this wild volatility. If I was to make a line prediction, like for people to bet on as an example, or make contests on, what's the next most likely, or what's going to happen next? Price will break below, say, $40 or $50, or will the price get above, say, $400, something like that? You're going to have those moves both. Well, they both could happen, is the whole point of what I'm trying to say on that. And oftentimes, one's just going to happen first like that. You're going to have a wild move to like whatever low amount, and then it just goes wild again to the upside. The volatility potential and historical volatility is really extreme within these crypto markets. And with the main crypto space going down in fiat currency, let's take a look at how the first few hours of the day look for alternate coins. And What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my playlist, or the list of coins on the right hand side. I'll put that up now. And right now they are sorted in chronological order with ABY at the top. But a lot of the altcoins are going down. I'll just show you the one on the first one, ABY on the daily term time frame. What is going on in here? Well, it's breaking down below a key level. Man, this volume is getting really, really low on here. Just the size of these candles. I don't like seeing this on the daily. It looks weird. Like when you see like a move like this, 429, and then on April 30th. But I like it where the open should always be where the close was last. Then it becomes easy to read. And technically that's always the way it kind of should be. Because if you close a time frame, the next time frame opens up instantaneously, like split second, whatever. Anyway. Percentage gain and losses. Now most of this stuff is just a few hours in. So ArtByte happens to be the biggest loser, but only at 3 1/3%. You have codes like Nexus, which is doing very good chopping up and down around, lots of trading opportunities within the upper and lower ends, but other than that, not much. It's obviously not declining like a lot of other ones are. This is ADT, which you see how it played within this 18 from the last low. This is when it would free fall down well below the 18, sort of like we were seeing with the hourly time frame on the BTC and Litecoin. How did it digest those losses? Well, it basically barely went up. It basically went sideways and up at the same time. It was not much of a price correction rally, but it met up with the 18, and look at how it leaves the 18 from the first red candle down on May the 19th. Red down, and then it just does like a pause day from that session, keeping it where it was, and then a little bit down, leaving the 18, crushing below the 18 today. And it's continuing further as this is playing through on ADT. Just another quick one, Power Ledger, pretty much the same, similar deal. But when you got a chance to get these sell opportunities in here, selling, you got the buybacks, and at some point it's going to go back up because it looked pretty bearish here. Oh, there's a rally. So at some point it can go do it. But it could have continuous down moves to like 2,000 and then have its rallies. Or it could do it at like 4,000, or where it is now. It might be the bottom at 44.51. I don't know. Can it be the bottom there? Actually, it could. But unlikely, of course. But a lot of volatile plays available. REP is monstrosity volatile with some of its moves. You see this day recently, and it's had a few of them like that before. On November the 21st, it had a day like such. It's not holding the 18 average of lows at this stage, but it's barely breaking below it down right now. Everything, for the most part, again, is selling off. As I can show you, most things are in negative territory. I mean, I don't see much green at all. Now we're in the green, but there's not much left on this bar. You got silver, that doesn't count. Nor does gold or XAGCAD. Litecoin, Ethereum's like meh, whatever, because it's just it doesn't it's not priced against Bitcoin. Zen's up 31% now. Holy crap! Hang on. This is just phenomenal. These moves. This is the whole point of this crypto game. Is you wait. When it happens, it happens. And I wish someone would have mentioned that this was like a good altcoin and that the altcoins in general would be going down today. I mean, who would have figured Zencoin would do something like this? Surprised. Hashtag shocked. Okay. Well then. So the price was 44, now it's 55. Increase is about 11, that's about 25%. We're only looking at two 15-minute period candles. Look at how this occurred. This is just a sweet setup. The rally happens quickly. Obviously, that's yeah, 1 minute time frame. 1 minute goes up, 2 minutes goes up. It takes 3 minutes for this to occur. You correct within this 18 average on the short term effectively. Now, even though I just sold some of it because, well, I mean, the last time I sold would have been like just somewhere up here. Then I'm going to sell some more because I realize that the markets are going to have wild up and down moves. It's a pretty good setup right now that it might have another leg higher. Now, in the daily term time frame, remember I said, oh yeah, I wish somebody would have mentioned that this was going to go higher. What I was going to say, remember when I said if this breaks this level of resistance, it could be an interesting situation? It's breaking that level of resistance right now. This could be really, really cool. ZEC I recently sold some of, like just before the recording of this video, on its 15-minute time frame, as it just had a nice little move higher. So there's always going to be these moves available. That's why I don't fear too much about Bitcoin prices having any long-term major correctionary moves. Because if it goes to 3,000 and then it comes back to wherever, like say 10,000, and then maybe it just stays there for a while and it takes 2 years to get to 20,000. Well, that's just what it's going to be now, won't it? Now, what else am I going to do about it? Cry? No, of course not. You handle the situation that is given to you. That's all you can do about it. But ZEC, nice looking setup overall, but within such, market had a huge move. And then you have all of these choppy up and down movements. Well, I've been selling and buying at these ranges all the way through. I just sold now because I bought below here. I'll sell again if it reaches this upper end. And it's overall consolidating at a key Fibonacci point massively. I guess I'm going to make it so that the screen is full sized again. You've seen the list. I'm just going to bring it back to the way it is normally. And put this on the 3-day time frame as well. I guess I got a line in here that's just annoying me, so I'm just going to remove this one. But what we see here is 4 lines separating the low and the high that ZEC has. So the first one up is a 23.6%. The second one up is 38.2%. How does the story play on this code from the start? Well, the start is down in here. So as this is rallying higher in early or mid-December on the December 12 candle, you see it rise over 215. Oh, what are the key numbers? 286, 402, 697, and basically the 1,000 or 979. Because the math can calculate it. First time I got up there, it resisted it for a couple days, fast move to next level, resist it, and look at how it plays it for support, but is unable to make a move to 967. We're at a huge situation in here. So the fact that it managed to make a move back to 286 when you see this, typical failed breakout, because it got above the previous resistance of 253. It had a nice bullish move, because when you have situation where you make a high like this, a standard high, you correct it perfectly within the 18 like this, and then you leave the 18 as it is. That is basically shouting out, I'm going to make a new significant new high. No, it didn't. Failed breakout, fast move to the downside. And of course, this Fibonacci line worked out very, very well. It bottomed there, but it didn't do anything. It just went sideways. This is a negative, another failed move, fast move again in here. When you look at this pattern, because what happens is you come down to big fib after an onslaught sell. You basically go sideways for 3 days exactly on this fib line, You break below it, but not by much, and you resist it. So that's saying, okay, this candle here is the one that's telling you things are going to be bad. The pause candle that followed it thereafter confirmed even more that it was looking to be bad. What do we get? 3 green candles up, a sideways one, and then eventually a big move there. Failed setup to go lower, fast move higher. So then when we look at it further, after it didn't go down like it was as you were looking at it in here, it established a little bit of resistance above the 18. After the band flattened out, stage 2. Stage 1 is band flat. Stage 3, come back to the band. And it lifts off after stage 3, right or pretty much near that key fib line. And in one period on this one, and spanning basically a couple of days, really the 2 days that you see, those 2 big green candles, is how long it took to go from fib to fib. And then, of course, now chopping as it is within this level. Okay, next price target is 6967. Another quick update on Zen. Ascending triangle. It's productively still holding this. I'll go back to this at the end of the video. I'm just going to go over a few more codes. What do I want to talk about now? What else is doing? I mean, the other one's doing, I mean, Steam dollars on the 1 minute time frame. This is like whatever. But with the daily, it all moves fine. Not a bullish setup whatsoever. Continuation of hugging the 18 average as it's in or around this near area support line. It's definitely at a cautious sign that this thing could have a decent leg lower like it did back in May from leaving like around 313 down to here, but leaving below here probably to around the 200 number. And then just another random one, digital note. This one looked interesting, I think, on the 1 hour time frame earlier. No, this isn't the one I'm thinking of. Because there was one that went down pretty good. It wasn't XDN. Golem GNT. When you're at the stage on the daily time frame where I have to go like this just to see what each day looks like, that tells me volatility is really low. Yeah, it does. It's today's high 6,607. Today's low 63.29. Now, of course, it's tough to count today, even though today's one of the more volatile days recently, and it's only a few hours in. But the difference in price is 271 plus 7, 284. So that's about 4%. Look at this day in here. The differential in price was like 210. That's like 3.4%. Yeah, days like, just even days like, say here, high 6730, low 5600. Differential 1130, volatility a little over 20%. And that's just like a whatever kind of day. So you get times where it's slow, not as much to do. Times when they're fast, more stuff to do. Let's now move on to Litecoin priced against Bitcoin. And it's just hanging in there, but this is not a bullish setup. It is by far more bearish than it is bullish. It's been in a downtrend, but it's really choppy. It's and in such, you can just play the highs and lows that way. And all I can try to do is state, yeah, maybe it can have this whatever leg lower, because when you go the long-term time frame, it's one of those very tight bullish kind of flags long term. Because the whole point was to hold well over the 0.01 number, and it's still a 0.0116. But this little action amongst the 18 was about 6 days, maybe the 7th in here, where price action supported the 18 lows, but managed to get close or above or to the 18 highs. And then you had these couple of days where it primarily stayed below it, breaking below the 18 here, following up with now just a couple days forming descending triangle pattern kind of stuff. So it's very cautious, tough. If you see action having a decent move down to, like, say 158, 157 something, there could be more. It could be a decent size leg lower over multiple hours or multiple days. Now let's move on to Monero. I didn't include this in my last night's video because I did in the 4-minute morning yesterday, but it's doing what was to be expected, and that's breaking down, as we can see, a decent size a red candle down after it leaves the previous support in the 18 of lows. The sideways correctionary move is now over, and you can say it was won by the bears, as was the resistance level, the horizontal line at around the 244 handle. So what does this decline mean? Well, it's now priced against Bitcoin at levels not seen since the 6th day of this year, or better than 5-month lows. So then I guess you could talk about Fibonacci. So we need that last key low. However, we got a multiple key area. Not bad. But this is what gives me, I don't even want to try to calculate it, because which low do I choose? Yes, I can do this. But if that's the case, I'll probably just pick around here at 163. But it makes it difficult when you have a pattern like this, because the ultimate lows I'm going to pick is going to be this one. So then let's do that. This is pretty much 100,000. So that's the number I'm going to use as the low. Now, as far as the top is concerned, pretty much want to go with what the exact number is. To a degree, I can round it. 3.8 billion? Or 38 million? And no, that should be 3.8 million, because there's 8 digits on the decimal. So if you're playing with the 7th digits, you're on 1 million, 8th digits on the double digits of the million. So 3.7 or 3.8 million is the high I'll be using. And within such a calculation, 76.4 is in at the 161 handle. That's 23.6 down. So where it's correcting within this line, and that was previous high. That's like the only, I can remember putting that in a long time ago just to match that level, because I really wanted to see how well it could hold as support. Did for a while, we're seeing it leave as resistance now. So 23.6 down is 161. I would think that area would basically be about a 15% correction, which is the one that would be higher than this here. But 160, I think it should probably pierce below such as well. So I'm going to put a horizontal line in here. Why is it not moving? The line, there we go. That's close enough, and we'll see if that becomes an intended target, because that is a decent move lower. And this is, again, long-term Fibonacci movement. But a big, big, big area of support of Monero has been now violated. And a big new statement in market change is in place here. And an update on Zen. How do we do here? This is what I'm going to do. I really want to broadcast a little bit more towards this. I'm going to, not only going to put a bit more, but I'm just going to pause this tape. As if it's a tape. A tape is so 1980s. But I remember getting a beta or looking at one at a garage sale. I think we picked it up. Those things were very, very interesting. Anyway, price action comes to this previous high 2 minutes ago or 3 minutes ago. And now it's just consolidating amongst it as it has left the 18 average. It's looking like it's breaking the resistance or ready to do so amongst this ascending triangle. And not much time has passed, but I'm just going to end the video now. We can see it's clearly breaking above that previous resistance, even as I see a little tick higher just now. That's what you expect when stuff like this happens. To me, this is, even though I just sold, becomes a very difficult time to sell directly at this price. Of course, if you're just seeing this now for the first time and you want to get some profits, by all means, of course, you can always try to speculate too. Can I get another decent leg higher? But I'm looking forward, because this is now, what was this high? I'm going to put a line right on that level. That's what I'm going to do before ending this video. Because this is the ultimate high, which is 553. And I want this number exact. There we have it. This could be wild. We'll see how it happens here. But yeah, that's just where it happened to be consolidating its resistance at. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.